Hello and welcome to Connect, the weekly podcast for the California MBA, featuring one-on-one interviews with movers and shakers in the industry. I'm Susan Milazzo, CEO of the California MBA, and I'm very happy that you could join us today. Before I get to welcoming today's guests, I'd like to thank our 2023 President's Council sponsors. Now, these are a group of companies that have provided a tremendous amount of financial support for our association so that we can continue to be that strong voice for the real estate finance industry before the state legislature and our regulators, among other things. So I'd like to thank our 2023 President's Council sponsors, and those companies include AmeriHome, Arch MI, Consolidated Analytics, Funding Shield, Guild Mortgage, Incelerate, Rocket Mortgage, and Western Alliance Bank. Thank you all so much for your support this year. We greatly appreciate that. And with that, it brings me to today's guests. I'm very happy to welcome Greg Vacura, who is president of Agile Trading Technologies. Greg, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
I had the pleasure of meeting you in person for the first time at Western Secondary Market Conference this year. Thank you so much for joining us there. Hope you enjoyed the event.
Great event.
I do like to get started with just a little background. So if you can start out by just saying how you got into the mortgage industry and coming to Agile.
Yes, it'll date me. 30 years ago, I started at Norwest Funding on the best effort lock desk. And then years after that, Norwest bought Wells Fargo, kept the Wells name. And then my role evolved at Wells, all in the mortgage space through, I went through finance, through best effort, mandatory pricing on the correspondent side. I had a stint with retail pricing, wholesale pricing. So I've kind of seen pricing and finance from the production point of view for a lot of years in the industry. Too many years, one would say, when you start talking 30 years in the industry, but it's been a great journey, and for a lot of years it was a great company to work for before they closed down the correspondent channel earlier this year.
Yeah, that's those long histories of one company buying out another one and buying in another one, and kind of here you are. You probably have so many people, so many colleagues that you know over the years that you're still working with.
Well, and that was what made the event out in California so wonderful. It was reconnecting with a lot of former Wells colleagues and meeting new colleagues, and it was truly a great event, as it is every year. So thank you for that.
Thank you for that. So you start out, shared you've had a long history in mortgage banking and capital markets, and in production pricing. Now you're on technology side. How do you feel that your past experience and your start in the industry has helped you understand the technological needs of lenders today?
Well, it's interesting because I have to understand it from the lender point of view, because I'm not by nature a technology person. So I came in with a lot of experience helping, working with secondary managers, delivering price to them, and tech has really evolved. The industry, the way we used to price was, pen to paper. You'd have a few Excel spreadsheets, and with the fast evolution of how we bid loans now, we moved from an AOT and a bulk space into a lot of bid tapes, and tech had to keep up, because as you're pushing your loans in front of multiple organizations, multiple aggregators, speed becomes important, and the tech advancements become important. The data back and forth is very important. So all those pieces, we've needed technology to match the complexity of the pricing structure. When you look at the LLPAs, the value and spec gains, MSR differences by note rates and by states, and all these factors that boil into an ultimate price, we couldn't do it the way it used to be. It has to be advanced with technology, and you have to have a bit of knowledge in a lot of little pieces to have it all work together well. So tech is just, even not being a true tech person, sitting in my role, understanding how it's used and how important it is to all aspects of the industry is what's kind of fundamental to utilizing industry in the whole space, and helping very specific pinpointed uses of that technology, where there can be a very minute pickup, but you multiply that by all the loans in the industry and all the loans a company can do in a day and a week, it matters in all cases.
Right. You remember I, have a long history in my career as well. Remember when Excel was smart technology? I mean, I remember those days for sure. And just learning about Agile, and I have to say I'm fascinated with Agile, and I'd love for you to share with us just a little bit more about that product.
Thank you. Yes, Agile is really meant to replace the phone. The traditional way, a lot of smaller, mid-sized lenders, you get their TBA pricing and their MBS pooling has been through the phone. A little bit of Excel work, but a lot of it is pick up the phone, call a few dealers, get a price on your hedge position, and you move on. And this replaces that phone call with an electronic transmission. You put your bid out on our platform, and you can put it out to multiple lenders, or I'm sorry, multiple dealers. The dealers get that price immediately. They can send the price back within 60 seconds. The lender gets the ability to view price from more than 2 or 3 lenders. They could potentially call in a few minutes while they're getting price. 5, 6, 7, 8 lenders. Dealers get the price back, and it's just a fast, efficient way to execute that trade. The benefits for the lenders are their bid is getting put into a few more dealers, in front of a few more dealers. The benefit for the dealers are they get to see all the bids. It's kind of similar to the evolution from the bulk mandatory process to the bid tape process, where as an aggregator, we were like, oh, we liked the phone call because we were talking one-on-one, but we didn't know all the phone calls we weren't getting. This allows the dealers to know, I'm seeing all the business from my lenders. I may not win them all. I may win less than the phone calls I got, but I'm at least seeing 100% of those trades versus 20, 30, 40% of them. So we feel both sides definitely benefit by having the trades go through the platform, and that execution, again, a little bit better for the lender, but the dealer gets to see more volume and throughput. So it's been a good match between the two. And
Wow.
then aside, we won't say secondary, but another benefit is it's extremely accurate. There's a triple check process involved, so you don't have the phone call that did I lock 1 million or 10 million, or was a 0 transposed wrong. It's very trackable, traceable, pretty essentially no accuracy issues on the system, because it's all traded, it's in front of you on the screen, and it's very accurate. And the efficiencies when you need to roll out of a position, when you need to either roll it or pair off, you can pair off with 4 or 5 dealers in one transmission. You can load up your screen. I need to do maintenance on these 6 trades, send them out to your dealers. You get that price back really quickly versus the old method of, and still the current method for some, of calling your 5, 6 dealers to do individual trade maintenance. So there's efficiency, accuracy, plus some benefits of some price execution gains.
Wow, I mean, I was thinking as you were describing, the efficiency sounds phenomenal, but the time savings too, right? I mean, everything's happening kind of in real time. So that is fascinating.
Yes.
Congratulations to you on Agile.
Thank you. And one other side note of it, the Agile replaces the phone, but it doesn't replace the knowledge of the trader. It doesn't tell when to trade, how much to trade, who to trade with. It's just a portal to make life easier, more efficient, but you still need all that skill on the execution side. You have to know your business, know what levels to put on. So the role of the secondary manager is not diminished at all with this process. Hopefully we feel it enhances that role, because now there's more time to spend on some of the critical thinking parts of the job versus some of the task-oriented pieces that we can clean up and make a little more efficient.
Right. That's one, great, fantastic product for sure. So Greg, we are, you've had a few decades under your belt of cycles in the mortgage industry. We're 3/4 of the way through 2023, very challenging year.
Mm-hmm.
What can you suggest at how companies can set themselves apart from their competitors?
Always treating the borrower with the foremost intention of doing what's right is number one. Beyond that, making sure your organization stays in front of technology advancements and gains. If we move into the next cycle and you haven't been keeping up with any advancements, it puts you kind of behind. So while it's difficult to sometimes justify the spend of trying a new process or getting to something new, in the end, it can really provide some strong dividends, because you'll keep up with the evolving and changing industry. And as we see, rates do what they do. They go up and down, and we don't have a great timetable and forecast of when they may come back, but being ready for the rate move when it comes back down, and kind of getting your ducks in a row ahead of time will really prove dividends later. And now it's, to a degree, a little bit in survival mode, but again, keeping your eye on the borrower, serving the borrower, and doing what you can to ready yourselves for the next wave of when rates come down, and we see hopefully a little bit of a refi spike into the future.
That's right. That's what we're all looking forward to, those days, right?
Yes, we need them. We need them back.
Greg, can you speak to the role that mentors have played in your career?
I have had some tremendous mentors, some managers and bosses and mentors that have just given me confidence. They've instilled early on the ability to think differently. I had one manager years ago, an industry veteran, Dave Henry. He told me, I may not always agree with your decision, but if you can explain the logic in your decision, I will agree with your decision. And that just gave me the tremendous ability to think. I had to think and to really think through my position and make a decision. And he would support it. And that was a springboard to many other just great mentors that supported my growth, supported training and personal development, personal coaching through the years. So a lot of little pieces with mentors, and having mentors that are willing to tell you the tough thing, to tell you that, hey, you're doing this wrong, or you need to shape up this as part of your personality or part of your way of doing business. Those little pushes along the way are greatly helpful, and they can be an uncomfortable situation, but they can be very valuable to the person getting the feedback. And that was me in many cases. And now as a manager, a leader, I try to be the same way. I try to give the constructive guidance and try to help who I can through the process. And also mentors that have had open doors are great. When you know that there's somebody in the organization that you can trust, you can call, you can bounce an idea off of, it's wonderful. So I also want to be that for people as well. If you have a situation you may not know how to approach it, having a camp of people to trust and help is very, very important in this industry.
Isn't it great to look back at the mentors in our lives at this point in our career? I mean, I think it's great. And you kind of started down the path of my next question. What advice would you give somebody that's just starting their career in the mortgage industry right now?
It's build relationships. It's, first and foremost, get to work on time, work hard, but build relationships. Ask for the next opportunity. My first 13 years in the industry, I had 12 different jobs, bouncing around to some different departments. Most were centered around finance or pricing, but a few were offshoot wings. I realized I wasn't a very good project manager in that process, so I gravitated back to finance and pricing. But it's have an open outlook, bounce around when you can, be upfront and honest with your manager. I would get in a role and say, I want to learn this role, I want to do it well, but this isn't my stopping point in my career. I want something more, and here's what I'll give, and here's what I'd like, and setting that expectation early. I think it's fair for both sides, but it's really just diving in and building relationships and being comfortable talking through situations and people, and grow your own career. As a manager, I've said, we need to treat all of our team differently. A lot of people and coaches, you treat them all the same, and I think I've seen over the years, you treat people differently based on their needs. You treat them always with respect and with help, but sometimes you need to push somebody a little harder in one way. Sometimes you need to be the caring support in a different way, and be vulnerable to be able to take that advice and help as a participant. And so hopefully you can get a good manager that can help lead and guide you. But when it's all said and done, you can't sit back and expect the next opportunity given to you. You have to be mindful of where you want to go, who you need to talk to, what you need to learn to get there, and be willing to take a sidestep in either the org chart or roles. It doesn't always have to be promotion. Many times you can take a lateral move to learn more about a topic or a subject and then bounce back into the role you were in or the department you were in at a higher level because you've broadened your breadth of knowledge. And so just be open to go and learn and do it while building a lot of relationships.
That's great advice, and relationships are certainly key in this industry, probably in everyone, but certainly in the mortgage industry, that's for sure. Greg, you've been involved with the California MBA. I know several other state MBAs, the National Mortgage Bankers Association, and we're very, very grateful for your support, I can tell you. Can you share with us why it's important for organizations to support associations like the California MBA?
Well, one, it's a very good place to build relationships. It's a collection of very smart people, they're all industry minded. It's a lot of people that want to make a difference in the industry. They want to help the industry, they want to help the borrower, they want to help the industry participants, all the companies in it, and they want to help the regulators. It's kind of like a trifecta that needs to be managed well. And the industry organizations, California MBA and others, do a very good job looking at all those pieces to make sure they all can coexist really well together. And the industry would be nowhere near it is today without all these organizations collectively working together, working with a lot of organizations and companies and people. It's a collaboration of a lot of smart people out there to really do good stuff.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. And thank you for the support. We appreciate that. We can't do it without our members and members like you. So so grateful for that for sure. And Greg, thank you so much for being on Connect. This has been great.
Thank you very much for the time. It's been wonderful.
And thanks to all of you for joining us today. To access any of our past episodes, you can follow us on our YouTube channel. We're also available on SoundCloud, Apple Podcast, and Spotify. That's it for this week, and we'll see you next time on Connect.